Second point is, now I'm going to give you instructions because today's topic is going to be very interesting. And a bit of it we have done it. If Rahul remembers, we have done related to educational reforms. See, you have different categories when you go for a group discussion. It can be education sector. Most of the concerned topic of IOCL is student relationship. Like why BTech is of 3 or 4 years, like why not 3 years, why not 5 years, something like that. Such topics can be there. Or you can say what kind of a pressure students are feeling. So there are student relationships, student problems, which is being discussed in IOCL at the most important level. Then apart from it, environment, social reforms, economic issues, political issues. So you have many other topics also. Anand and Varsha, if you're there, please switch on your videos. And secondly, now today's topic is going to be related to the education sector. Now this topic which I'm going to give you is going to be, you can say it can come in number of forms. It can be educational reforms. The topic's name of today's discussion is New Education Policy. NEP 2020, that is a discussion topic. Now, before you go for the pointers, let me give you some of the discussion forms, how you need to do a group discussion on this topic. First of all, do remember, language is not a bar. You can go for Hindi, you can go for English, you can go for the blend of both the things, right? So as you're comfortable, go for any language. Second thing, which is very important for you is, एग्जाम्पल्स को टारगेट करना. न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है, एजुकेशनल रिफॉर्म्स है, पॉलिसीज जो गवर्नमेंट ला रही है, ये बहुत डिफरेंट तरीके से पूछा जा सकता है. रेलिवेंट एग्जांपल्स, कॉमन एग्जांपल्स देने हैं आप लोगों ने. कंट्रोवर्शियल एग्जांपल्स किसी का नाम लेकर नहीं देना. फैक्चुअल एग्जांपल्स दोगे ओनली इफ यू आर क्लियर अबाउट इट. अदरवाइज गो फॉर द एवरीडे एग्जांपल्स कि वी डोंट गेट मच ऑफ द प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज इन अवर कॉलेज डोमेन्स. अब एनईपी 2020 की वजह से प्रैक्टिकल में ज्यादा फोकस आ रहा है. तो आपने क्या करना है, examples को as a very common slang में देना है. Third point is, one of you will go for the introduction. Like, good morning everyone. The topic of today's discussion is New Education Policy. Now see, you have a freedom of this topic, New Education Policy. मैंने आपको नहीं बोला, आपने इसके positive points बोलने हैं, negative points बोलने हैं, students को कैसे target करना है. मैंने आपको, प्रणय?
मैम आप पहला और दूसरा पॉइंट रिपीट कर सकते हैं, मेरा बीच में डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया था.
Yeah, okay. So first was, it was just कि language कोई बार नहीं है, कोई भी language, हिंदी, English आप use कर सकते हो. Second, examples बहुत relevant देना आप लोग. Controversial examples, जैसे there was a student Aruna, she gave once an example. मैंने hard work versus smart work topic दिया था. तो she gave an example जो Messi है, उसने smart work किया है. We cannot target कि इस बंदे ने सिर्फ smart work किया है, target नहीं किया है, या like hard work नहीं किया है. So you cannot give controversial examples. These are the controversial examples. Till the time you don't have authenticated statements from that person, you cannot speak like that. Clear? Difference clear हो गया कि controversial और common examples क्या होते हैं? Common examples होते हैं कि हमारे colleges में, schools में आजकल क्या होता है, ये थिंग न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी से vocational courses आ रहे हैं. अभी तक हमें vocational courses नहीं पता था, नहीं इतनी ज्यादा practical knowledge है, तो इस वजह से आप इस तरह से आप इसको ऐड कर सकते हो. ठीक है? Some of the common examples. Third, which is important, is one of you will go for the introduction. How you need to go for the introduction is, like, good morning everyone. The topic of today's discussion is New Education Policy. The way I told you, इस topic को मैंने open dimension दी है. मैंने ना positive बोला है, मैंने कुछ नहीं बोला इसका. So whenever you have some topic where it is all left on you, you can start, like one of you will start. Like, what is the meaning of? पहले उसका topic का heading देने के बाद उसका meaning बताना है. New education policy was given by the government in this and this year, in this and this month. And this policy is a kind of an educational reform, which is trying to bring changes. किस तरह से changes ला रही है. Education system पुराना क्या था, 10+2 था, अब क्या हो गया है, कैसे आपने बताना है. So I'm giving you some of the highlights if you're not aware about this policy. ठीक है? तो इस तरह से आपने कैसे start करना है, meaning क्या है. Then you will say, now I open the house for discussion. अब उसके बाद आप सारे pointers दोगे. I agree with this point, I disagree with this point. अगर आपने कोई positives, सपोज वर्षा ने स्टार्ट किया पॉजिटिव ऑफ न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, उसके बाद आपने पॉजिटिव सब लोगों ने बताने शुरू कर दिए. सपोज नवीन स्टेट्स की नहीं, अब तो पॉजिटिव डिस्कस हो गया, अब नेगेटिव्स पे करना है. तो यू विल से, नाउ आई वांट टू ब्रिंग, नवीन वुड से, ओके सो वी हैव डिस्कस्ड, माय फ्रेंड्स, वी हैव डिस्कस्ड द पॉजिटिव पॉइंट्स ऑफ दिस डिस्कशन. नाउ आई वांट टू ओपन अ न्यू डायमेंशन, एंड दैट इज द कॉन्स ऑफ न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी. लेट्स डिस्कस दैट. Then you bring the discussion. फिर आप लोगों ने न्यू उसके किया. Suppose आपको लगता है, फिर आई थिंक राहुल को लगा कि चलो पॉजिटिव हो गए, नेगेटिव हो गए. What government is doing? So I also, Rahul states कि okay, so after discussing positive and negative, let's see what government is targeting. Government के न्यू टारगेट्स कर देने, गवर्नमेंट की डिस्कशन करो. मतलब open your brain and brainstorm yourself कि क्या क्या मैं dimensions ऐड कर सकता हूँ. You will have 15 to 20. I am targeting it out like let's do it for 20 minutes. A panel to panel vary करती है discussion. It can be 8 minutes, it can be 15 minutes, it can be 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. I am giving you 20 minutes. 20 minutes का मतलब है जब तक मैं आपको नहीं बोल रही रुकने के लिए, you do not have to stop yourself. Keep on bringing new dimensions. यहाँ पे जितना बोलोगे उतनी प्रैक्टिस होगी, उतने वोकल्स को ओपन करो. Clear? Don't stop till the time I say you. Let's see how many of you can bring it. Then I'll tell you at the end who brought the best of the points and where you lagged. कुछ चीजें आपको improve करनी पड़ेंगी if I'll speak it out to you. ठीक है? Examples दो, relevant example. And one very important thing is बहुत लंबे pointers नहीं देने हैं. ठीक है? Be concise in your prior points. Be precise in your points. And one very important thing. किसी को बार बार cut नहीं करना. सुनो उसको अटेंटिवली. सपोज वर्षा ने बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट दिया, आपको उसी टाइम एग्जांपल याद आया, उसी टाइम आपने वर्षा का वो पॉइंट विन करना है. यू हैव टू विन द अदर्स पॉइंट्स. सपोज वो एग्जांपल लैग कर रही है, उसने पॉइंट बहुत अच्छा दिया, एक्सप्लेन बहुत अच्छा किया, बट यू कैन गिव द एग्जांपल एट द वेरी हिट टारगेट एंड यू कैन विन दैट नंबर. ओके, because see in the finals you will have 20 of the students they are fighting for each other. बोलने का मौका नहीं मिलेगा वहां पे आपको. अगर आपके पास अच्छे पॉइंट्स हैं, क्वालिटी पॉइंट्स हैं, then only you can win this argument. क्लियर एवरीवन? एनी प्रॉब्लम कि जीडी कैसे करना है, टॉपिक में कैसे बोलना है, और कंक्लूजन भी आपका बहुत जेनरिक होना चाहिए. इट कैन बी सपोज वन ऑफ यू एट द एंड यू हैव टू कंक्लूड. So now on the behalf of the entire panel, I'm going to conclude this topic, new education policy, which is a kind of an educational reform. It has both the positive and negative points. कोई बहुत अच्छा point है तो उसको discuss कर लो, उसके बाद बोलो that as every coin has got two sides, positive and negative sides. So here we need to work on the negative sides and we need to move up, like we need to progress with the positive side. So that is what is the policy about, and I hope government keeps on bringing such policies and we are the ones who can actually make this policy a success. So that is the kind of generic सा आपने intro दिया, generic सा conclusion दिया, और बीच में आपकी arguments है. आप clear हुआ कैसे करना है topic? These are very important things and try खुद बोला करो, मुझे introduce करना है, मुझे conclude करना है. आपको पता चलेगा कि am I good in this thing so that I can do it in the finals, या मैं नहीं अच्छा हूं तो मैं नहीं बोलूंगा. Clear? Give yourself chance. जैसे राहुल का था, मैं I used to have number of GDs with Rahul. So there I used to tell him कि कभी इंट्रोड्यूस करो, कभी कंक्लूड करो, ताकि राहुल को पता चले मैं किस कैटेगरी में अच्छा हूँ, मैं उसी कैटेगरी में ज्यादा बोलूँ. ठीक है? ट्राई खुद से करो. आई एम जस्ट काइंड ऑफ यू कैन से हेल्पिंग यू आउट इन दिस, बट कुछ ना कुछ आपको वर्क्स करना है. एक कॉपी लगा लो अपनी, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. कीप अ 10 रुपीज नोटबुक विच आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड. उसमें रोज के डिस्कशन के टॉपिक्स नोट करते जाओ, पॉइंट्स बनाते जाओ, जो भी एट द एंड बिफोर यू कंक्लूड, सपोज आफ्टर 20 मिनट्स वी कंक्लूड इट आउट, राइट? उसके बाद आपको 5 मिनट लगा के जो भी पॉइंट्स है वो नोट करने हैं. व्हेन यू हैव 10 पॉइंट्स, फाइनल्स में जाके 3 पॉइंट्स तो याद रहेंगे ही रहेंगे, और आपको 3 बार ही मौका मिलेगा शायद कुछ बोलने का, तो विन द बेस्ट ऑफ इट. क्लियर? अब सबको क्लियर है जीडी कैसे करनी है? Any problem in this? Naveen, Anand, you are attending for the first time, and Pranay, you are attending with me for the first time. Clear it out?
Yes, ma'am.
Pranay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So, great. Now you have the topic is new education policy. It's up to you. When bring as many dimensions as possible. किसी को topic नहीं आता है तो I'm giving you a hint. Educational reforms, policies, SSA drawbacks discuss करना. और किसी का सुनना, किसी को आता है कोई पॉइंट, ये वाला टॉपिक आता है तो वो कैसे कैसे मूव करता है. At the end, I'll give you some of the brief. Neha ma'am will give you the brief. What did you feedback? What was the things you did? Where you lagged? I'll help you out in it. So your 3 minutes start now. Jot down as many points as you can. And I think who wants to introduce this topic?
I can start.
Okay, Rahul will introduce. Conclude किसको करना है? Who
Ma'am,
wants
I
to
will
conclude?
conclude.
Okay, Pranay can conclude it. Fine. So it's going to start 3 minutes. It's 118 by my side. 121 पे आपका start होगा, and then it will go for 20 minutes. Fine. Go ahead, guys. Okay, yeah, Rahul, it's 121. You can start now.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to all. My name is Rahul Rajanan, and I am glad to start the discussion. The topic given to us is quite relevant. That is National Education Policy 2020. And there are several highlights of the national education policies. In history, first of all, if we go to the history, the first education policy came in India in 1986. After by the time there is a lot of refinement required in that for the today's environment, so the government came up with the second new policies in 2020. There are so many highlights of education and national education policies. Like there is a major highlight is the flexibility in education. The school years which have been changed the format of 10 plus 2 to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, and also the introduction of coding, gender sensitization, and also high quality research in educational institute is one of the major highlight. Now I invite all of us to participate in the discussion.
I think a new education policy will be a revolutionary change in our education system because it will help to eliminate the rote learning method, which is actually carrying out from many years. It will also help in developing the holistic development of a child. And the main thing which is there in a new education policy is about the vocational training and emphasis on the extracurricular activities.
Uh, yes, I think the new education policy was the highlight of the this year's budget, and it has made some very great changes because for a long time we were experiencing a very monotonous way of learning and education. Now the new curriculum is based on the taste of all the departments needed for an individual growth. Like there is a no discrimination on the basis of the three department which we used to have, like science, arts, and commerce. Now a person who is pursuing science can also study commerce along with it. And there is some other changes that has been done also, like use of artificial intelligence in the classes to facilitate the proper learning. Other than that, they are trying to develop the virtual labs. That is also a good thing. So we can understand the biomechanics of all the things that works, uh, like how a cell work. If I want to know how a cell work, I used to study the notebook only. Now I can visualize if I am sitting in the classroom and having all these things. Yeah, and I think
Okay,
it,
and
hello.
yes, good evening, everyone. So I would like to add some more points to the discussion here. Uh, One salient feature of this national education policy is the introduction of the ABC form of system, that is the academic bank of credit. So the system is working like, suppose a student is doing some programs, he can add the credits of whatever subject he has learned, and that credit will be added to his own system, its own credit, and it's like an academic bank, just like we are making a bank account. So that system can be used again also. So as rightly pointed out by Rahul, this gives a great flexibility to the education system also. And another salient feature which I think is of great importance is the setting up of the National Research Foundation. Now we are having a lot of various research organizations. They are like scattered, and it can become it can be brought under a single umbrella also, so that more focus can be made on the research activities also. It can greatly benefit the research domain also. I completely agree with your point. I just want to add some more points into this. That like Rahul has said that earlier it used to be like a 10 plus 2 system. Now it has changed to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. I guess that this will really help the teachers and the student to focus on a particular sector of the of students and all. Also, I would like to add a point that now it is the new rule is something like that you can start schooling from 3 years. I guess this will help too. Another very good point was that now the B.Ed courses need to be of 4 years. So earlier it used to be of 1 or 2 years, I guess.
At that time, teachers since it's for 4 years now, so teachers will uh, have a very good time spent to learn how to teach new students and all. Also, this has started like giving the financial supports to the student who are doing higher educations. Like right now, only we have seen that earlier for doing a PhD course, the stipend was there like 35,000 and all, but right now it has increased to 42,000 or 43,000, somewhat like that. So I guess these all are a very good thing that has happened in the new education policy. Yeah. Okay.
I want to add some more points to this, and I also agree to your point. Government is also planning to increase more investment in the education sector. As earlier, it was only around 4.5 to 4.6% of GDP. Now, 6% of the GDP is dedicated to education sector by this new education policy. One more point I want to add is that till class fifth, now the children are allowed to study in their own language, in their mother tongue, or in their local languages. So this will be, I think, this will add to the flexibility point that children will now. It will be easier for them to study in their initial year, and in the later part of their life or study, they can study in whatever language they want.
And also, I would like to add some more points like an important feature of the education policy is like introduction of the multidisciplinary fields into the system. Earlier also we used to have multidisciplinary systems, but now it has been more focus has been given, because in the future also more emphasis will be on the collaboration systems. And also additionally we are also having we are planning to set up the National Education Technology Forum, so that this can be used as a platform to share the different technological ideas and innovations also. I think that is also an excellent way to improve our education system.
Yes, I also
Yes,
want to add some more points in the favor of national education policy, that in the bachelor's degree you can't exit within 4 years degree. But now after the introduction of national education policy, you can quit this degree as per their interest in 1 year or 2 years. This type of flexibility is given in this. If anyone wants to quit the BTech program in 1 year, they have provide certain certification like diploma. If they want to quit in 2 years, they provide university provide them a certain certification like advanced diploma courses. I think this is good for those students who after the going to the after they have gone to university, they analyze they are not interested in any certain courses like this.
Yeah, I completely agree with
yeah.
Rahul's point. I would like to give an example that when I was in college, our college had a rule that if you got less than 6 CGPA marks, you will be kicked out of the college. So one of my friend was actually really kicked out of the college after like 1.5 year. So that really affected his career, right? Because giving your time for 1.5 year into the college and then getting out of the college without any degree or certificate, it really affected him. So now with this new education policy, if they give at least some certificate to that yes, this guy has read in the college for some years, it will be very beneficial for that guy. So I agree with Rao.
Yes, one of the plus point of the new policy is also the new assessment system. Now earlier it is only based on the academic part only in most of the institutions, but now it is a whole performance based like in other areas also. Other than that, we all have agreed and discussed many of the great points of the education system. But I think one of the things that can backfire is like in at a school level, we used to have these yearly academic examinations earlier previously, but now they are changing it to like only on in second, fifth, and eighth standard. So this can backfire because the childrens and school people they will not get used to the competition and the uh, uh, practices. which undergo in preparing for an exam. This can backfire, I think.
Yeah, definitely
And
for
I would
kids.
like
Yeah,
to
definitely
add
for
some
kids,
point.
it's required to give a test or give that in a regular
Yeah.
basis, because for kids it's really required कि सही टाइम पे टेस्ट होते रहे, because अगर बहुत
It's a
ज्यादा
healthy
गैप होगा तो
competition
किड्स
always
जनरली
helps.
पढ़ते भी नहीं है. या हेल्दी कंपटीशन जरूरी है as long as it's for kids. For
Uh,
I
one
guess for
one
plus
of
two
the point
students
I
it's
think
fine. Yeah,
one of the thing
definitely. Continue.
that I'll also like to mention, like after the 10th exams, we have to decide to choose the subjects, and as we all know, we all have been students at that point of time. So earlier, so it is not up to us only, because many of the parents, they force their children to pursue some field, and this now, according to the new system, they have to choose earlier now. And because the children, they are not very mature mentally to
Yes.
make these kind of choices by themselves. So they will be forced by their parents, I think. So this can backfire also.
One more disadvantage I want to add is that for the introduction of coding and the digital courses by the new education policy is there in the new education policy, but still there are many schools in our country which lacks infrastructure. And I think this will be a major disadvantage. And one is also that there are a shortage of teachers in the schools in some of the rural areas. So it will be difficult to implement the digital side of this new education policy.
Yes, I agree with your statement that there is a shortage of teachers and the infrastructure which are available for digital education. But apart, I am adding some more point in the cons of national education policy, that national this policy favors the a student of on distance online courses, but many companies are not in the favor of may not recruit many students who go through the distance learning courses.
Yes, I agree. And I want to add some of the advantages of this new education policy also, that nutritious breakfast will be provided in the school along with the midday meals, which is to be provided. So I think it will be good for the families who are not financially stable. I think because of this breakfast and midday meal things, they will try to send their children to school. So I think this will be a advantage also. And one more thing I want to add this. Earlier, schools used to just develop aptitude skills, but as there is overall development is there in this new education policy, so it will help in developing the emotional skills, the leadership skills, and the holistic development of the child.
Yes, and I would like to add some more points regarding the disadvantages. Also, I would not per se call them disadvantages, but I would rather call them some challenges in front of the government. Like as we all know, the national education policy covers right from the pre-education till the higher education. So setting up of our aim is also to give free education to all, at least from the preschool stage to the 12th standard. That's also a law that has been being aimed to be implemented also. And how it will be implemented, there will be a lot of challenges, especially in the rural areas. We need to have the correct teachers also. The right quality education should be provided. The people and the children should be able to access the free education also. That is one challenge that I feel we can face. And once we move to the higher education level also, as rightly pointed out by other members also, like we may face some challenges in imparting the technological education to the rural areas, and integration of technology among various departments is also another challenge. And also, as we know, the national education policy is actually aiming at standardizing our Indian education system and to make it like international standard. And so in future also we may have a lot of collaboration among foreign universities and with the reputed organizations or research organizations, universities in India. So once we are moving to that stage, we should be capable enough to handle all those areas also, especially in terms of quality of education, the quality of research, all that. So I feel that the setting up of this technological forum and the integration of the various research organizations, or a setting up of a higher education authority all these things are the stepping stones which can prove beneficial in the future run.
Yes,
Okay, so let's over it out. Who is going to conclude it? I think Pranay, right?
Yes.
Pranay, go for conclusion.
So as we have all discussed, there are good and bad aspects of this, and the proper quality check has to be done while doing these reforms. There are some challenges like technical challenges and the quality of education that has to be maintained and look out. And yeah, I think this had to be taken in mind.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay, so now be very attentive. I'm going to conclude it out and I'm going to give feedback to each and every one of you, right? So first thing is the topic was started by Rahul. I'll come on one of you and I'll discuss this point with you. Before I start with the feedback, remember one thing. You guys have got some points. Pointers are there. The polishing of content is much, much needed, right? Whenever you have to speak something, you need a way to present yourself. और उसकी वजह से बहुत ज्यादा पॉइंट्स थे आई वुड से जैसे वर्षा ने बहुत बार स्टार्ट किया कुछ और उसकी स्टार्टिंग हो सकती थी नवीन स्टार्टेड इट आउट मतलब आपने बहुत अच्छे पॉइंट्स को भी एक बोलते हैं ना बोलने का तरीका होता है दैट यू एक्चुअली लैक्ड Anand, I will message you out. Your mic has some problem. Keep your mic closer to your mouth. Very first thing. That was, I think, seen in the last also. Your voice was not very much clear. Second is your pointers are way too long and all the pointers were indirectly, they were related to research only. तीनों बार में research को. Repetition of content is a bad thing. You understand? You need to brainstorm कि मैं कितने different ideas ला सकता हूँ. Third, attentiveness आज भी कम थी. Now let's start with Rahul. Rahul, when I started with you, you told me 1986 से start हुआ. You know the education policies actually started from 1968. फिर 1986, फिर 1992 में रिफॉर्म आया था, फिर 2020 का था. ठीक है, तो मैंने ये चीज स्टार्टिंग में बोली थी, फैक्चुअल तब बोलना जब याद हो. और अगर नहीं याद है तो यू कैन ओनली से इट आउट लाइक द रीसेंट पॉलिसी व्हिच वी वर फॉलोइंग जब हम पढ़ रहे थे like 2020 से पहले when we were graduated. So what was the policy? That was a 10+2 system and it was on the 1986 basis. उसमें रिफॉर्म्स आए, ये आए, जनरिक चलो, मत करो फैक्चुअल में. कोई परसेंटेज जैसे वर्षा ने परसेंटेज बोली थी आई थिंक 4.5 से 6, इट इज अ राइट वन बट समटाइम्स यू डू नॉट, आपकी ऑथेंटिसिटी चेक होती है. ठीक है, 6% इज अ राइट वन. कई वेबसाइट्स पे 6 पॉइंट समथिंग भी आ सकती है. अप्रोक्सीमेट वर्ड लगाना मत भूलो. दीज आर सम की थिंग्स दैट यू नीड टू रिमेंबर जब भी कोई फैक्ट्स प्रेजेंट करने. Now Rahul, that was the bad thing. Otherwise, you were going good. Factual तब बोलो जब बहुत क्लियर हो, नहीं तो उसको चेंज कर करके एजुकेशन के क्या बेनिफिट्स हैं. एंड यू नो लाइक एजुकेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द यूथ एंड वी आर रिसेंटली फिगरिंग इट आउट कि एजुकेशनल रिफॉर्म्स आ रही हैं और गवर्नमेंट बहुत पॉलिसीज डेवलप कर रही है. एंड वन ऑफ द की पॉलिसी व्हिच वाज डेवलप्ड बाय गवर्नमेंट वाज इन यू कैन से 2020. It's a new education policy being implemented and we need to discuss about it because many of the people are still unaware about policy which has been brought और बहुत चीजें इंप्लीमेंट होने वाली है. मतलब बोलने का वही वे है. मैं डिस्कशन स्टार्ट कर दूं दैट यू नीड टू जॉट डाउन सबकी अट्रैक्शन, सेंटर ऑफ अट्रैक्शन बनो. नहीं पता कब स्टार्ट हुआ तो वी हैव डिस्कस दिस टॉपिक. राहुल, यू रिमेंबर ये टॉपिक पे कुछ पॉइंट्स डिस्कस हो चुके हैं और ये टॉपिक एजुकेशन रिफॉर्म्स क्या है, गवर्नमेंट क्या क्या इंटेक्स ला रही है एजुकेशन में, ये डिफरेंट वेज में पूछा जा सकता है. तो बी रेडी फॉर योर पॉइंटर्स. उसके बाद बोला वर्षा ने, वर्षा यू स्टार्टेड विद व्हेन यू स्टार्टेड इसमें रॉट लर्निंग इरेडिकेट हो रही है, होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट हो रही है. एट द स्टार्ट व्हेन यू गो फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइमर, स्टार्ट विद दिस. I support this policy. I'm in a favor of this policy. This policy has some good features. And one of the features which I liked is because you were the one who actually started after Rahul. And that was a negative point which you did because you did not tell me that you are supporting it out. You are not supporting it out. I have to listen to your point completely. ठीक है, तो जब भी स्टार्ट करना है, किसी भी बच्चे ने नया टॉपिक स्टार्ट करना है, नया पॉइंट देना है, तो बोलो that I'm in the favor of this argument and I really appreciate this policy. This policy has actually made, you can say, become very convenient because the rote learning has been eradicated. And now we are into the holistic development and the holistic development is a key plan of this policy. पता चला वही फीचर अच्छा बन जाएगा आपका. That is a way. And Varsha, be louder because you have a good vocals. थोड़ा इस तरह से कंसिडर करा करो, जैसे बोलते हैं ना, एक इंटोनेशन होती है, ऊंची नीची आवाज करना आपका कॉन्फिडेंस चेक होता है. दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज वेरी मच नीडेड एंड फॉर दैट यू नीड टू प्रैक्टिस इट आउट. जैसे नवीन का मुझे आज कॉन्फिडेंस बहुत नहीं लगा, आनंद की मुझे आवाज ही नहीं बहुत स्लो लग रही थी. बहुत चीजें आपको चेंज करनी पड़ेंगी व्हेन यू प्रेजेंट योरसेल्फ इन द ग्रुप डिस्कशन. ठीक है, तो अगर आता भी है, अच्छा भी है कंटेंट पॉलिशिंग, पहली चीज. सेकंड चीज, द वे यू स्पीक, दैट इज समथिंग नीडेड. क्लियर? उसके बाद आया प्रणय ने. Pranay, you started highlighting that budget of this year, it is not this year budget में अकेला present नहीं हुआ है, तो 2020 से चल चुकी है. तो ये this year की policy तो गलत हो गया. इसमें जब आप बोल रहे हो ना that they are providing us exposure ये करके, उसको बोलो that they are focusing on interdisciplinary approach, multidisciplinary approach. और उसके बाद multidisciplinary किसने दिया था? आनंद ने दिया था. Where is Anand? आनंद, आपको प्रणय को उसी टाइम पे टारगेट करना था. That is what I tell you. उसी टाइम पे जैसे ही उसने इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी को बोला है, उस टाइम पे हिट करो ना, बोलो. दैट शोज योर अटेंटिवनेस एंड योर की स्मार्ट फीचर कि आप कितना बोल सकते हो. आप बीच में आनंद ने बोल दिया, देन यू स्पोक ऑन समथिंग डिफरेंट, रिसर्च बेनिफिट पे बोला, फिर नवीन ने कुछ और बोल दिया, फिर वर्षा ने बोला, फिर आपको याद आया कि मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच पे करना है, जो कि ऑलरेडी डिस्कस हो चुका था. दिस इज समथिंग, ये चीजें तुम लोग लैक करते हो एट द वेरी स्टार्ट ऑफ द ग्रुप डिस्कशन. डाइग्रेशन होता है तुम लोग का, रेपिटेशन होती है तुम लोग की, और थर्ड थिंग है जब तुम अटेंटिवनेस नहीं दिखाते हो. तुम लोग को ये होता है मैं अपना पॉइंट्स लिख के रख लेता हूँ, मैं बोलूंगा इसको, मेरी जब बारी आएगी मैं अच्छा पॉइंट बोलूंगा. पर तुम ये भी फोकस करो ना, वो पॉइंट पहले बोल चुके हैं, मेरे को उसी टाइम पे हिट करना था. ये चीज नेगेटिव है, और ये बहुत चीजें काउंट इन होती है. ये धीरे धीरे आप जितने जीडीज लगाते जाओगे उतनी प्रैक्टिस करते रहो, पर ये समझा करो कि कहाँ पे मैं लैक कर रहा हूँ. सर अटेंटिवनेस वाज नॉट देयर अनंत. देन इट इज अबाउट, हाँ सॉरी प्रणय एक आपने एआई का मेंशन किया, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का पॉलिसी के अंदर नहीं मेंशन है. ये कर सकते हो कि प्रमोट कर रहा है ये आइडिया. पॉलिसी में अगर एआई का फीचर मेंशन करोगे वो नहीं मिलेगा, तो वी कैन नॉट स्पीक लाइक दैट. मैं वही बोलूँ ना, फैक्चुअल मत दो जब नहीं पता, इसको जेनरिक बोल दो कि एआई के फीचर्स बहुत ज्यादा मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच को फॉरवर्ड प्रमोट करते करते, एंड वी कैन सी द फोकस ऑन दिस आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस भी बूल पे है, एंड दिस कैन बी कोलैबोरेटेड इन द फ्यूचर ईयर्स आल्सो. अभी पता है कुछ भी कि एआई को पॉलिसी में मेंशन किया है? It's not.
No, मैम वो वर्चुअल लैब्स के रिलेटेड कुछ था, तो
वर्चुअल लैब्स वो बिल्कुल डिफरेंट हो जाएगा. एआई को अगर हम मेंशन करें और वर्चुअल लैब्स को मेंशन करें, वो डिफरेंट है, हम रिलेट नहीं कर सकते. और जब तक हमारे पास ऑथेंटिसिटी नहीं है, आप ये कर सकते हो ना, दैट इज प्रमोटिंग, इट इज एक्चुअली गिविंग अस वेज टू प्रमोट आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, वर्चुअल लैब्स एंड मेनी मोर थिंग्स कैन बी इम्प्रूव. ये पेविंग वे आ रहा है, ये नहीं आ रहा कि खुद ही मैं इम्प्रूव कर रहा हूँ. न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में नहीं मिलेगा कहीं पे भी कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को प्रमोट कर, कहीं पे भी नहीं मिलेगा. पेव वे करना ये रास्ता देता है कि हाँ ये चीजें ऐड ऑन हो सके, वो चीज इंपॉर्टेंट. क्लियर हुआ डिफरेंस? कभी भी कोई एक्स्ट्रा फैक्चुअल चीजें नहीं देनी है, दैट इज अ बैक. उसके बाद आनंद का आ गया रिसर्च बेनिफिट. आनंद के तीनों पॉइंट्स रिसर्च से लिंक्ड है. डू यू एग्री विद इट? हर एक में रिसर्च का कुछ ना कुछ ऐड कर रहे थे. वो लगता है कि एक ही पॉइंट को 3 बार रिपीट करो. सपोज करो आई एम लिसनिंग टू योर ग्रुप डिस्कशन वेरी अटेंटिवली, आई एम नोटिंग डाउन द पॉइंट्स. Sometimes the person who is actually judging you out, they don't have that much time because उनको बहुत बच्चों का जीडीज कराना है, और कई बार आपकी वॉइस प्रॉब्लम है, कुछ है नहीं आता, आपका एक वर्ड हिट कर रहा है रिसर्च, फिर हिट कर रहा है रिसर्च, फिर कर रहा है हिट कर रहा है, उसको बोलेगा एक ही बच्चा एक ही टॉपिक बोल रहा है. क्लियर हो ये चीज? ये नहीं करने देना कि मैं
academic bank of credits.
keep your mic closer.
Madam, I had started with the academic bank of credit. I think.
Yeah, you started with academic bank, then you shifted. It can benefit the research areas also, domains also. आपका टॉपिक का बोलने का तरीका डिफरेंट था, तीनों पॉइंट्स डिफरेंट. मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ क्रक्स क्या आता है, क्रक्स सिमिलर आना शुरू हो जाता है, वो चीजें नहीं होनी चाहिए. बस ये चीज याद रखो कि मैंने हर टाइम पे बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट देना और डिफरेंट पॉइंट देना, ठीक है? अब किसी और का नहीं आ रहा था, सेम पे नहीं आ रहा था फोकस. क्लियर हुई ये चीज?
Madam, can you explain that in English because I'm not a native speaker of Hindi. Last point.
I cannot hear you properly. First thing, so that is the first one.
No, the last sentence you spoke in Hindi.
I'm saying that the crux of your all the statements was actually getting confined to research domains. Okay. That it is promoting it out. Well, this is something that you need to change it out. That whenever you give 3 pointers, suppose you spoke for 3 times, every time your crux your needs to be different. Sometimes you give an example, sometimes you give an information, it is giving a boon, sometimes you give a negative point. That shows your brainstorming different 3 directions. That is all about group discussion. Group discussion is not a debate that you have to only speak positive, you only speak negative. It is about speak positive, negative, discussion, mediate, anything you like. So that is actually a GD is all about, right? Understood it out? Good. Next is again, and yeah, Naveen. Naveen, your point was B.Ed 4 years and it is giving, where is Naveen? Yeah. Naveen, if the years are getting increased, like B.Ed is, they are actually doing it so that the employment can be at a later run, right? So that the people, they get more time for employment. That is why first it was B.Ed was for 1 year, then 2 years, and they're slowly increasing the pace of it so that they can generate the employment with a longer pace, right? See, we cannot say that more the time and more efficiency will be there. You cannot speak like that. It can be when you started that new rules, and there are many good points into it, and we are being able to see that they are actually bringing more of the training periods. ट्रेनिंग पीरियड ऐड करो जिसमें वो एक्चुअली बीएड में क्या हुआ है, टीपी ऐड हुई है. अगर नहीं पता टीपी क्या होगा, टीचिंग प्रैक्टिस क्या होता है ना, वो चीजें ऐड हुई है, so that they can actually get the simulation of the real fact of teaching in the schools, which was actually missing before or something like that. तो ये चीजें ऐड करनी है. इस तरह से डायरेक्ट ईयर को नहीं मेंशन करना, 4 साल हो गए तो टीचर ज्यादा एफिशिएंट हो जाएंगे, नहीं पॉसिबल. कोई टीचर बिना आप बोल सकते हो बीएड किए भी बहुत एफिशिएंट है, और कोई टीचर बीएड करने के बाद भी नहीं एफिशिएंट होगा. So there you can get a target, you can get a hit list कि नवीन बहुत अच्छे टीचर्स ने बीएड क्यों किया. In colleges we do not do the BEd. I've been in a college, I've not taught it out. So that is not, BEd is not compulsory over there, right? ये points मत बोला करो. These are the digressive and controversial. उसके बाद वर्षा का था. वर्षा same thing. That is you are getting promoted in your languages. That is actually, you can say, they are actually trying to promote the regional languages. वही पॉइंट था, लैंग्वेज प्रमोशन हो रहा है तो बोलो रीजनल लैंग्वेज. और जब आप प्रॉक्सिमिटी मेंशन कर रहे हो, अप्रॉक्सीमेट मेंशन करना, व्हिच आई टोल्ड यू एट द स्टार्ट आल्सो. 4.5 to 6, so it can be you can say it can be approximation of 4.5 to 6%, right? So that gets a clear idea कि अंदाजा बोल रही है वर्षा. It can be right, it can be wrong. You have a safe side to play. That is what I'm telling you. Target करो, even if you're very clear about it, 6%. That is clear, that is right one, but still go for approximation. Okay, that for the safe side. And language, you told it more, there is more investment by government in your own language, so that is a promotion of the regional languages, so that the people who are getting in the Hindi or some other language, they do not have some kind of, you can say, barriers, or they do not feel lower or something like that. Inferior khatam hota hai. Nowadays it is like English, the ones who speak English, they are the most efficient, most nice people, they are good ones. But this thing needs to be eradicated actually from the mindset of the people. And that is why regional languages are being promoted, and the people who are comfortable in the state language, even our mother tongues, they are getting promoted. Because I'm from Punjab and I don't know Punjabi too much, I don't know Hindi too much, I speak more conveniently in English. So that is a bad thing for me, because I'm getting a blend. We are getting a chutneyfication of all the languages, right? We don't know any particular language in a very good run. That is what is the negative point for us. So it is actually promotion of your mother tongues, it is actually promotion of your regional languages, and it is promotion of your national language. Clear? So see, when you speak a point, how beautiful you can make it. And that's just by practice. Okay. Next is Anand. That is what multidisciplinary collaboration, wo point target karna tha at the very right time when Pranay spoke. So there you lack this attentiveness. Then is Rahul. Rahul, the point, quit in 1 year. Quit nahi karna chahta. It is like, the people can have a problem also. Sometimes you are not able to complete your graduation due to some financial constraints. You have some constraints, you have some medical emergency, you could not. And that is why at that time the students will actually have to leave it. How you could start this point is, so I would like to bring a kind of a situational course. Like nowadays, the people who are not able to complete their graduation due to some circumstance issues, like situational issues, maybe medical issues, maybe health issues or something like that. Now, even if they complete the course, 1 year they will get a diploma program, 2 years they will get a certification, 3 years, 4 years, a complete degree, and even they can rejoin the course. So that is a very beautiful concept which has been initiated by the government, because the people actually can improve, the students can improve their efficiency, and such problems can actually be eradicated. ये कोई quit नहीं करता. It's not like quitting it out. That is a wrong word. Quit तो हो गया, मैंने पढ़ाई छोड़नी है भाई, छोड़ देती हूँ, ठीक है? तो words गलत नहीं choose करने. Then Naveen, it is like example, it was fine. Pranay का एक चीज मुझे negative था. Pranay, our points were getting little longer. जब conclusion करना आया तो 1 second में खत्म कर दिया. जब बोलने थे points तब तो बहुत लंबे points थे. तो ये नहीं करना, okay? Have a kind of a points where you balance yourself. लंबे points मत दो. जो लंबे जैसे Pranay ने point दिया था, it was like you cannot choose your subjects after 12th. It is very difficult for you. So it is like keep same way you could provide it out as. Now it is the best ways of promoting the interdisciplinary. वो multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary और इसका same ही आ रहा है. Cracks change कर करके बोल दो. वही point उसी time पे discuss होना था कि even after 10th we are in a dilemma, and sometimes we want to go for like social sciences and the physical sciences are together race. And now this is all possible through the new education policy. Words तो use करो ना, BTech के students हो, physical sciences, social sciences, ये कुछ use ही नहीं कर रहे हो तुम लोग words, ठीक है? तो वही चीजों को थोड़ा अच्छे वे में बोलो. Then Varsha, about disadvantages. Varsha, that was not actually needed. Shortage of teacher in rural areas. So it is like पहले बोलो उसको कि I think NEP has got many good points, but one of the drawbacks is like it is little tough to implement it in the rural areas. Implementation is hard because the digital medium and the network issues and everything we have seen during COVID years also. So that is going to be a big challenge. Challenge हो गया economy. ठीक है? So you can call it as a challenge. What is a negative thing? Okay, challenge. उसके बाद राहुल ने भी बोल दिया online courses and all that. That is also kind of a challenge because actually they need to increase the network constraints and whatever the things they are providing. But ये नहीं बोल सकते क्योंकि government जो है 12th class के बच्चों को मोबाइल दे रही है, ठीक है, schools में मोबाइल दे रही है. जो mid day meal वाला scheme जो आपने दिया था वर्षा, that is already there in Punjab schools and many schools are already being there. So it is just you can add it like this. Even the new education policy, they are actually focusing about the holistic development, as you mentioned earlier also. So as I mentioned earlier about focusing on the holistic development, it is not about the curriculum, only academics, but on the, you can say, the development, health issues, the nutrition level, everything is being taken into consideration. And I think that is, there is an improvement in the midday meal schemes and the food intake of the students, that is also taken into consideration. Clear? So you can say that I'll tell my niece is there. So she goes to school and she gets, she has a proper, in the, you can say, meal system is there, where they're checking out what is the protein intake, carbohydrates intake and everything. And they're providing it out to her. Even the private schools, they are focusing. So not only government, but every schools, they are focusing it out. Good schools. Yeah. And then you have Ananya pe research ka mention kiya. At the last, it was all research tool. And then Pranay, not a good conclusion for sure. The way you gave it out. Conclusion mein kya problem thi Pranay? When I spoke the conclusion for you guys, you could not make it. Pranay?
Yes, ma'am. वो मैम एक्चुअली मेरा नेट भी धीरे चल रहा है तो मुझे आधे पॉइंट सुनाई नहीं दे रहे थे बीच बीच में.
Okay. Have a good network once when you do it out. अब यहाँ पे promotions क्या थी, sequence का आप लोगों को mention किया आप लोगों ने, mother tongue का मैंने बता दिया, how you need to speak it out, language का वो, more on the practical focus, vocational courses बहुत ज़्यादा add on हो चुके हैं, we are not into theoretical only regions anymore. वो चीजें आपको मेंशन करनी थी. Interdiscipline, multidisciplinary, that we already mentioned. There are many teacher enhancement programs. Trainings would be provided to the teachers also. They can match the standards of the students, and they are actually able to keep themselves abreast with the whatever knowledge, whatever the stuff that is going on. And then it is like it is a blending mode. It is promoting online, offline, both the education system. Last but not the least, at an early age, you can benefit yourself. There will not be a pressure on the students because we have seen that the students, they commit suicides, they are under the dilemma of suicides and everything. But I think with the new education policy where everything is taken into consideration and theoretical, practical is being focused, holistic development is focused, maybe the pressure of the students go down the line. And we can see that our country's education system is actually improving. That could be the conclusion for all of you, right? Now tell me any doubts to everyone. Anyone has any doubts? Clear हुआ किसकी polishing में problem था, किसके लंबे points से, किसके repetition था, क्या-क्या किस-किसकी problem थी and how you could improve it out?
मैम आप वॉइस मॉड्यूलेशन वाला बोला, वो वाला एक बार पॉइंट मुझे बता दीजिए.
See, it is for everyone. The voice modulation is like intonation. When I speak, I'm taking a second gap in between when I'm speaking. And you won't notice it out, but एक gap होता है. हम जब बोलते हैं, मैंने कोई नया point बोला, I keep a gap. Second thing is मेरी आवाज ऊपर जाती है, नीचे जाती है. Sometimes we are discussing like, oh, that's a bad phase for all of us. My voice too close. It's a bad phase. And I would like to bring a new dimension to this topic is, and where I'm going to favor the positive aspect. मैंने कुछ words को highlight किया, positive aspect. I want to bring a new dimension to this topic. So that is the way you target. कुछ words में ऊंची आवाज करके उसको highlight करना. मम्मी मुझे ये बना दो खाने के लिए. You target, मम्मी, and this is something you speak. बाकी line खा भी जाते हो, कोई issue नहीं है. That is something you need to check it out. That is intonation. That is your taking the gaps. That is actually your pitch, the way you speak. चिक्के नहीं मारनी है, पर ऊंची बोलो और कुछ अच्छे पॉइंट्स को हाईलाइट करो ताकि सुना जाए आपका पॉइंट. अगर मैं बहुत धीरे बोल के अगर आपको दूंगी, फीडबैक दूंगी, नहीं सुनोगे, इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं आएगा आपका. पर ये भी नहीं है कि मैं शोर मचा के कि सारे ऑफिस को खड़ा कर दूं कि पता नहीं क्या ये चल रहा है. Clear with the difference? And that is something that comes on the practice. That is all I tell you. Practice karo. Rahul pointers come थे, but still very, very much great improvement in you, which I've seen from the very first Rahul to now. Right, all right. Topics के जो pointers है, polishing needed in yours, तो वो polishing थोड़ी add करो, points को लिख लो. वर्षा, good intake, but वही चीजें हैं, जैसे आपके content अच्छा था, लेकिन not very refined one, so refining is needed. Naveen, confidence lack I felt in you in terms of the presentation. Set at the back whenever you are giving a GD, okay, and have a very, you can say, refined. थोड़ा सा smile भी करते हैं at the start when you go for a good points, when you have some bad points and all that. It's not about making faces, it's about like presenting yourself in the physical appearance which is needed. ठीक है, वो चीजें देखना. लंबे points नहीं होने चाहिए. There were some lengthy points in it. And same I felt in the prane also, that there were some lengthy points in prane's intake also. Conclusion was not good. One prane. Anand, your points had a repetition. You could not hit at the right time. That you need to be. Next time, be very attentive in your GDs. Okay. And anything else from anyone? किसी को डाउट समझ आ गया टॉपिक अच्छे से? जीडी अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ. I'm going to close it out, but आप लोग के 5 minutes, what you have to do is, जो भी हमने पॉइंट्स डिस्कस किए हैं, किसी का कोई पॉइंट गलत था, अपना एक क्लाउड बना लिया करो कॉपी पे. मुझे आज ये फीडबैक मिला था, नेक्स्ट डे पे देखा करो, सेम फीडबैक मिला, डिफरेंट फीडबैक मिला. Am I actually improving it out, or I am doing it on the same pace? That is needed from your side, and you need to improve it out if you really want to be at a good point at a GD. What actually happens is, वहां पे 20-30 बच्चे होंगे, अभी बहुत कम हो रहे हो, अभी आप लोग बहुत कम हो, तभी बोल रहे दोनों साइड्स पे प्रैक्टिस करा करो, रात को भी लगाया करो, because many are actually working also. So for workings, you will be able to challenge those people also, right? तो रात को भी जब लगाओगे तो क्या आएगा, बहुत ज्यादा, एक तो ज्यादा पार्टिसिपेशन होगी. Put your good points, how you present it out. And one more thing, which is digression नहीं करनी है. Digression is thing which is needed, which is actually checked. 20 students का तो GD चल रहा है. If you start digressing, तुम लोग को निकाल दिया जाएगा. जो लोग बच्चे बचते जाएंगे उनका होता रहेगा. This is something happens. Okay? GD 8 मिनट की भी हो सकते हैं, जिसमें आपको सिर्फ 8 मिनट्स मिलेंगे, और सपोज करो इतने बच्चे हो, तब 3 पॉइंट्स नहीं बोल पाओगे, 1 पॉइंट बोलोगे, बहुत अच्छा बोलोगे, विन कर लोगे. और लास्ट चीज, कभी भी ये नहीं करते हैं, मैंने आपको 3 मिनट्स देती हूँ, पॉइंट बना के रख लिया, मैं तो सिर्फ यही पॉइंट बोलूंगा, अच्छा पॉइंट बोलूंगा. नो, अटेंटिवनेस कितनी है, सही टाइम पे हिट करते हो. सपोज वर्षा ने बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट बोल दिया, यू हैव टू मेक अ पॉइंट कि वो वर्षा का जो स्टार है ना, वो मुझे मिल जाए. हाउ यू कैन डू इट? उसका पॉइंट सुन रहे हो, उसी टाइम पे अपना एक हिट टारगेट कर दो. ठीक है, सुनो भी दूसरे को. डू नॉट बी जस्ट कि मैंने सिर्फ अपना पॉइंट. Clear with all the pointers? अभी बंद करके you just have to note down all the good points. किसी और ने भी कोई पॉइंट बोला, मैंने क्यों नहीं बोला, वो नोट कर लो. At least have 10 points. 10 points नोट कर लेना. कल नया GD होगा, उसको भी, जैसे रात को लगा रहे हो, उसको भी नोट करना. फिर have a rule 1-3. 1-3 is rule is day 1 पे जो हमने किया है वो थर्ड डे रिवाइज करना ही करना है at any cost. तो जो भी टॉपिक्स हम करेंगे फर्स्ट डे के, वो आप रिवाइज करते जाना. ठीक है, पॉइंट्स रिवाइज करते जाना. I'll bring this topic again after at the long run. Let's see at that time how you participate. Okay, for that you need to practice a good way. Any problem? Feedbacks noted?
Yes, ma'am.
Chalo, be ready for the evening one also, right? And I'll drop the message in the group again. Okay, chalo. Take care, guys. All the best and bye bye.